r/petty revenge stepsister stole my savings, so I exposed our DNA secret. I'm staring at my laptop screen, watching my bank balance mock me with its pathetic $127.43, when my stepsister Emma walks into the kitchen wearing a brand new designer jacket that costs more than most people's rent. Love the jacket, I say, my voice steady despite the rage building in my chest. Where'd you get the money for it? She doesn't even look at me, just grabs a sparkling water from the fridge like she owns the place. Which, let's be honest, she basically does. Birthday money, she says with a shrug. Dad's been really generous lately. Birthday money. Right. Her birthday was 3 months ago, and I distinctly remember her blowing through that cash on a weekend trip to Vegas with her friends. But here she is, flaunting what I'm 99% sure is MY money. Money I've been saving for 2 years, working double shifts at the campus bookstore, skipping meals, turning down every social event because I needed every penny for next semester's tuition. $3,000. Gone. I discovered it missing yesterday when I went to transfer funds for my spring registration. The money I'd been keeping in what I thought was a secure savings account, one that somehow Emma had gained access to. I'm still figuring out how she pulled that off, but knowing Emma, she probably sweet-talked Dad into helping her organize family finances or some other manipulation tactic she's perfected over the years. See, Emma's always been the golden child. When our parents got married 5 years ago, she slid into our family like she was always meant to be there, charming everyone with her perfect smile and her perfectly timed tears whenever she needed something. Dad treats her like the daughter he never had, which is especially insulting since he actually has a daughter. Me. But I've got something Emma doesn't know I have. Something that's going to change everything. Last year, for a genetics class project, I bought one of those DNA testing kits. You know the ones, spit in a tube, mail it off, learn about your ancestry. Except my results came back with more than just percentages of Irish and German heritage. They came back with a list of DNA relatives, including several matches that made me curious enough to do some digging. Turns out, Emma's perfect little origin story, tragic young widow finds love again with my dad, bringing her sweet orphan daughter into our loving home, has some pretty significant holes in it. Because according to my DNA results and some very interesting social media sleuthing, Emma's biological father is very much alive. And very much married to someone who isn't my stepmother. Which means Emma and my stepmother have been lying to my dad for 5 years. They've built their entire relationship on deception, sympathy, and the image of a vulnerable family in need of rescue. Meanwhile, Emma's real father has been living his best life 2 states over, completely unaware that he has a daughter who thinks he's dead. I've been sitting on this information for months, unsure what to do with it. Part of me felt sorry for Emma, thinking maybe she didn't know the truth either. But watching her parade around in that jacket, bought with money I earned during countless boring Saturday shifts, has crystallized my resolve. She wants to play games. Fine. But she's about to learn that I've been holding the winning hand this entire time. Dad's birthday party is next weekend. Emma's been planning it for weeks, inviting extended family, his co-workers, everyone who matters to him. She's been positioning herself as the devoted daughter, the one who puts family first. Perfect timing for a little family reunion she's not expecting. The hardest part about plotting revenge is pretending everything's normal while your target parades around like they've already won. I'm sitting at the dinner table Tuesday night, picking at Mom's overcooked lasagna, when Emma launches into her latest performance. She's telling Dad about her struggles with her marketing internship, how the other interns don't appreciate her creative vision, how she's been staying late to prove herself. I just want to make you proud, she says, reaching across to squeeze Dad's hand. You've given me so much, and I want to give back to the family that saved me. Dad practically melts. Honey, you don't need to prove anything. You're already everything I could want in a daughter. I nearly choke on my water. Everything he could want in a daughter is sitting right across from him, but apparently being quietly responsible doesn't compete with Oscar-worthy emotional manipulation. Actually, Emma continues, and I can see the calculation in her eyes, I've been thinking about taking on a heavier course load next semester. Really push myself academically. Though it might mean cutting back on work hours. And there it is. The setup for her next financial request. She's already spent my $3,000, and now she's positioning herself for more. The audacity would be impressive if it weren't so infuriating. Of course, sweetheart, Dad says immediately. Education comes first. Don't worry about money. My stepmother Linda nods approvingly. Emma's always been so driven. Remember when she was little? She used to say she'd rather read than watch cartoons. I remember differently. I remember Emma throwing tantrums when she didn't get her way, but apparently my memory doesn't count in this family's revisionist history. What about you, Han? Dad turns to me, almost like an afterthought. How's school going? Fine, I say, because what else can I say? That I'm about to lose my spot in my program because his precious stepdaughter robbed me blind? That I've been living on ramen noodles for 3 weeks because I had to use my food money to keep my phone plan active for job interviews? Everything's under control. Emma shoots me a look that might pass for sisterly concern to anyone else, but I catch the smugness underneath. She thinks she's untouchable. 5 years of being daddy's princess will do that to a person. After dinner, I retreat to my room and pull out the folder I've been building. Photos printed from social media, screenshots of public records, DNA match information. Emma's biological father, David Hartley, lives in Phoenix with his wife of 15 years and their 2 legitimate children. He's a successful contractor with his own business and absolutely no idea that his college girlfriend's daughter survived that car accident that supposedly killed them both. The car accident that killed Emma's maternal grandmother, but somehow left both Linda and baby Emma miraculously unharmed. The accident that was tragic enough to garner sympathy, but convenient enough to erase any inconvenient questions about Emma's paternity. I found the newspaper articles from back then. The obituary that lists Linda and Emma among the survivors. The insurance payout that funded their fresh start in a new state. It's all there, a carefully constructed narrative that falls apart the moment anyone starts asking the right questions. My phone buzzes with a text from my advisor asking about next semester's registration. I stare at it for a long moment before typing back that I'm working on the financial details. 6 more days until Dad's party. 6 more days of watching Emma play the perfect daughter while I figure out exactly how to detonate this bomb I've been carrying. The best part? She has no idea it's coming. Wednesday morning brings a complication I didn't see coming. I'm grabbing coffee before my 9 a.m. economics class when my phone rings. It's Dad, which is weird because he never calls during the day unless something's wrong. Hey, can you come home this weekend? He says without preamble. I know you usually stay on campus, but Emma's put so much work into this party, and it would mean a lot to have both my girls there. Both his girls. The phrase hits like a slap. Of course, Dad. Wouldn't miss it. Great. And listen. He pauses, and I can hear that tone creeping in. The one that means he's about to ask me to be the bigger person. Again. I know you and Emma don't always see eye to eye, but she's been really stressed about making this perfect. Maybe you could help her out. Show some sisterly support. I grip my coffee cup so hard I'm surprised it doesn't crack. Sure thing. I'll talk to her. After hanging up, I realize Emma's maneuvered me into exactly the position she wants me in, the supportive background character in her starring role. It's brilliant, actually. Having me there, playing the good sister, will only make her look better when everything implodes. But when I get home that afternoon, I discover Emma's been busier than I thought. Oh good, you're here, she says, looking up from a pile of party planning materials spread across the dining room table. I need your help with something. She gestures to a poster board covered with family photos. Pictures of Dad through the years, his military service, college graduation, wedding to Mom. And prominently featured throughout are photos of our blended family, Emma and Linda seamlessly woven into our story like they've always belonged. I'm making a memory board, she explains. But I'm missing some good photos of all of us together. Do you have any on your phone? I stare at the display, noting how she's positioned herself in the center of most arrangements. How she's managed to find photos where she looks radiant while I'm caught mid-blink or looking awkward. Even in a tribute to Dad, she's found a way to make herself the star. I'll look through my photos, I tell her. Thanks. Oh, and I invited a few extra people. Some of Dad's old army buddies I tracked down on Facebook. Won't he be surprised? Something in her tone makes me look up sharply. Emma's smiling, but there's a calculating edge to it that sets off alarm bells. How did you find them? I've been doing some digging through old photos, military records, social media. You'd be amazed what you can find online when you really look. She meets my eyes directly. People leave such interesting digital footprints. My blood turns cold. Is she implying what I think she's implying? Anyway, she continues, turning back to her poster board, I think Dad's going to be really surprised by some of the things that come up at this party. Family secrets have a way of surfacing when you get everyone together, don't you think? I force my voice to stay level. What kind of secrets? Oh, you know. The usual family stuff. Things people think they can hide, but DNA doesn't lie. She glances up at me with that same fake innocent smile she's perfected. Speaking of which, how's that genetics project going? The one you did last year. Ever get any interesting results? My heart stops. She knows. Somehow, she knows about the DNA test. Nothing too exciting, I manage. Just boring ancestry stuff. She arranges another photo on her board. Well, I'm sure if there was anything really shocking, it would have come up by now. Good thing our family doesn't have any skeletons in the closet, right? The gauntlet has been thrown. Whatever game I thought I was playing, Emma's been playing it longer and better than I realized. This just got a lot more complicated. That night, I can't sleep. Emma's veiled threats replay in my mind on an endless loop. How much does she actually know? And more importantly, how did she find out? I'm staring at the ceiling when my phone buzzes with a text from an unknown number, asterisk, we should talk. Coffee tomorrow? Emma, asterisk. She's texting me from a different phone. Which means she doesn't want this conversation on record. My paranoia kicks into overdrive as I realize she's been planning this confrontation just as carefully as I've been planning mine. The next morning, I find her waiting at the campus Starbucks, looking perfectly put together in her stolen money jacket. She's chosen a corner table, away from foot traffic. Private. Thanks for coming, she says as I sit down, like this is a friendly sister chat instead of whatever psychological warfare she's about to unleash. Cut the act, Emma. What do you want? Her smile falters for just a second before snapping back into place. I want to make sure we understand each other before Dad's party. I'm listening. You think you're so smart with your little DNA test. She leans forward, her voice dropping to barely above a whisper. But you're not the only one who knows how to do research. My stomach drops, but I keep my face neutral. I have no idea what you're talking about. Really? Because I found something interesting when I was going through old family files in Dad's office. A receipt from Ancestry DNA. Paid for with your credit card. Shit. I'd completely forgotten about the paper trail. So I started thinking, she continues, what would my dear stepsister be looking for? And then I remembered how weird you've been acting lately. All those suspicious looks, the questions about my childhood. It made me curious enough to do some digging of my own. She pulls out her phone and shows me a screenshot. It's a message thread with someone named David Hartley. My blood turns to ice. Turns out, Emma says, studying my face with satisfaction, when you reach out to estranged family members with a sob story about wanting to reconnect, they're very willing to share information. David was especially chatty once I explained I was doing genealogy research for a school project. You contacted him? I can barely get the words out. Oh, I contacted him all right. Had quite a few conversations, actually. He's a very nice man. Felt terrible when I told him about the research confusion that suggested he might have a daughter he never knew about. She takes a sip of her latte, letting that sink in. Of course, I explained it was probably just a database error. These DNA sites are so unreliable, aren't they? The implications hit me like a freight train. She's not just covering her tracks, she's actively poisoning the well. If I try to expose the truth now, David will think it's part of the same, confused research Emma already warned him about. Here's what's going to happen, Emma continues. You're going to be the perfect supportive sister at Dad's party. You're going to smile for photos, help serve cake, and keep your mouth shut about whatever conspiracy theories you've cooked up. Because if you don't. She shows me another screenshot. This one is a draft email to my father, with a subject line, concerned about, my name, behavior. I'd hate for Dad to think you're having some kind of breakdown. Stealing money from family, making up wild stories about DNA tests, harassing innocent people online. The stress of college can really get to some people. I stare at her, seeing clearly for the first time exactly who I'm dealing with. This isn't just theft, it's calculated psychological manipulation by someone who's had years to perfect her craft. You stole my money, I say quietly. Prove it. Her smile is razor sharp. But more importantly, ask yourself if you really want to go to war with me. Because I've been playing this game a lot longer than you have. She stands up, shouldering her expensive purse. See you at the party, sis. I'm sure it'll be unforgettable. As she walks away, I realize I'm not just fighting for my money anymore. I'm fighting for my sanity, my relationship with my father, and any hope of justice. But Emma just made one crucial mistake. She assumed I'd back down. She doesn't know me as well as she thinks she does. I spend the rest of Thursday in a haze, going through the motions of classes while my mind races through every possible scenario. Emma's threat hangs over me like a sword, but the more I think about it, the more I realize she's made a critical error in her calculations. She's so confident in her manipulation skills that she's gotten sloppy. That evening, I'm back in my dorm room when inspiration strikes. I pull out my laptop and start digging deeper into the digital breadcrumbs Emma left behind. If she contacted David Hartley through social media, there might be traces she didn't think to hide. It takes me 3 hours of searching, but I find it. A Facebook message thread that Emma forgot to delete, visible in the message requests folder of a fake account she created. The conversation is even more damning than I hoped. Emma didn't just contact David to cover her tracks, she got greedy. She spun him an elaborate story about being a genealogy researcher helping families reconnect, and then asked if he'd be willing to participate in a documentary project about finding lost family members. For a small consultation fee, of course. She's been scamming him too. But here's the beautiful part, David actually seems interested. Really interested. In his last message, he mentions how he's always wondered about Linda, how losing touch with her after college was one of his biggest regrets. He even says he'd be willing to travel to meet this research team Emma told him about. Emma played herself. In trying to discredit me, she's opened a door she can't close. I screenshot everything before Emma realizes her mistake and deletes it. Then I craft a very careful message to David from my real account, introducing myself as Emma's stepsister and explaining that there might have been some miscommunication about the research project. I don't mention DNA tests or family secrets. Instead, I focus on something Emma can't argue with, Dad's 50th birthday party happening this weekend, and how it might be nice to have some surprise guests from his past. I know this is short notice, I type, but if you were serious about reconnecting with Linda, she'll be there. It could be a really meaningful surprise for everyone involved. I include our address and party details, then hit send before I can second guess myself. David responds within an hour. He's driving up from Phoenix tomorrow night. Friday morning brings a text from Emma, asterisk, hope you've thought about our conversation. Looking forward to celebrating Dad together as a family. Asterisk. I text back, asterisk, absolutely. I even invited some extra guests. Hope you don't mind surprises. Asterisk. The 3 dots indicating she's typing appear and disappear several times. Finally, asterisk, what kind of surprises? Asterisk. Asterisk, the good kind. Family reunions are so special, don't you think? Asterisk. This time, she doesn't respond at all. I spend Friday afternoon helping with party preparations, watching Emma grow more agitated as the day progresses. She keeps checking her phone obsessively and asking seemingly casual questions about the guest list. So it's just family and Dad's work friends, right? She asks while arranging flowers. Mostly, I say innocently. Though I did mention it to a few people. You know how word spreads. Linda notices Emma's mood shift. Honey, are you okay? You seem stressed. I just want everything to be perfect for Dad, Emma says, but I catch her shooting me suspicious glances when she thinks no one's looking. That evening, as I'm getting ready for bed, my phone buzzes with a message from David, asterisk, just checked into my hotel. Looking forward to tomorrow. This might sound crazy, but I have such a good feeling about this. Asterisk. Emma has no idea that her perfectly planned performance is about to have an audience she never expected. An audience with 20 years of questions and a very different version of the story she's built her entire identity around. Tomorrow's going to be interesting. Saturday morning arrives with a kind of crisp autumn weather that makes everything feel possible. I'm up early, ostensibly to help with last-minute party preparations, but really because I couldn't sleep anyway. Every time I close my eyes, I imagine different scenarios for how today might unfold. Emma's already in the kitchen when I come downstairs, and she looks like she hasn't slept either. There are dark circles under her eyes that her usual perfect makeup can't quite hide, and her hands shake slightly as she arranges pastries on a serving tray. You're up early, she says without looking at me. Big day. I pour myself coffee, noting how she flinches at the sound of the mug hitting the counter. Dad's going to love this party. All the thought you put into bringing people together. Right. Her voice is tight. Speaking of which, I've been thinking about the guest list. Maybe we should keep it smaller, more intimate. Just close family. Oh, but Dad loves a crowd. Remember last year? He kept saying he wished more people could have been there. I take a sip of coffee, watching her over the rim. Besides, it's too late now. People are already planning to come. Linda bustles in, saving Emma from having to respond. Girls. Thank goodness you're both here. The caterers just called, they're running an hour late. Emma, honey, can you handle the appetizer situation? And sweetie, she turns to me, could you manage the decorations in the living room? As we scatter to our tasks, I notice Emma pulling out her phone. She's texting frantically, and I catch a glimpse of her trying to call someone before hurrying into the other room. Damage control mode has officially begun. By noon, the house is transformed. Streamers, balloons, and Emma's memory board create a festive atmosphere that would be genuinely touching if I didn't know what was coming. Dad's touched by all the effort, completely oblivious to the undercurrents of tension radiating from Emma. I can't believe you girls did all this, he says, pulling us both into a hug. I'm the luckiest dad in the world. The first guests arrive around 2, and for a while, everything proceeds normally. Dad's co-workers share embarrassing stories, the neighbors bring casseroles, and Emma plays the perfect hostess despite her obvious anxiety. She's checking her phone every few minutes now, and I catch her peeking out the front window repeatedly. Around 3:30, my own phone buzzes, just pulled up. Is this the right house? There are a lot of cars. My heart hammers as I text back, that's the one. Come to the front door. I position myself near the entrance, wanting to see Emma's face when David arrives. She's across the room, laughing too loudly at one of Dad's work stories, but I can see the strain in her posture. The doorbell rings. I'll get it. I call out, but Emma's already moving, panic flashing across her features. No, I've got it, she says quickly, but I'm closer. I open the door to find a tall man in his 50s with Emma's exact nose and chin. Even if I hadn't known who he was, the resemblance would have been unmistakable. David hardly looks nervous but excited, holding a small gift bag and scanning the busy house behind me. Hi, he says with a warm smile. I'm David. I think we've been messaging. I'm here for... What the hell? Emma's voice cuts through the party chatter like a knife. Everyone turns to look as she stares at David with undisguised horror. The color has completely drained from her face. David looks confused, his smile faltering. Emma. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to startle you. I'm David Hartley. We've been talking about the reunion project. The room goes deadly quiet. Linda drops her drink, the glass shattering on the hardwood floor. David? Linda whispers, and the recognition in her voice confirms everything. Dad looks between them, bewildered. I'm sorry, do you know each other? And that's when I realize Emma's biggest miscalculation. She assumed she could control the narrative, manipulate the situation to her advantage. But she never considered what would happen when the truth was standing right in front of everyone, asking questions she couldn't answer. The perfect party just became a perfect storm. David's confused smile fades as he takes in the frozen tableau before him. Linda looks like she's seen a ghost, Emma appears ready to bolt, and Dad is clearly trying to process what's happening. Linda, David says softly, stepping into the foyer. My God, it really is you. When that researcher contacted me, I couldn't believe it. After all these years. Researcher? Dad's voice cuts through the tension. What researcher? Emma shoots me a look of pure venom before stepping forward, her hostess smiles shakier than I've ever seen it. Dad, this is just a misunderstanding. David, I think there's been some confusion. No confusion at all, David interrupts, his eyes fixed on Linda. Though I have to say, the young woman who contacted me made it sound like this was some kind of documentary project. But seeing you here. He shakes his head with wonder. I always hoped I'd get the chance to tell you how sorry I was about Emma. When I heard about the accident, about losing her. Wait. Dad's voice is sharp now. What accident? Emma's right here. The silence that follows is deafening. You could hear a pin drop in the room full of party guests, all of whom are now openly staring at what's clearly becoming a family drama of epic proportions. David looks from Linda to Emma to Dad, his confusion deepening. I'm sorry, I don't understand. This can't be Emma. Emma would be. She'd be 19 now, and I was told she died in that car accident when she was 2. Oh shit, someone whispers from the kitchen. I think it's Dad's coworker Mike. Linda is trembling now, her face cycling through a dozen different expressions. Emma grabs her arm, trying to steer her away from the crowd. Mom, you don't look well. Maybe you should lie down. Don't, Linda says quietly, but there's steel in her voice. She shakes off Emma's grip and looks directly at David. Don't you dare. Not now. Linda, Dad says, and I can hear the warning tone creeping in. What is he talking about? What accident? Emma makes one last desperate play. Dad, this man is clearly confused. I think we should call the police. He's obviously some kind of... I have pictures, David says suddenly, pulling out his phone. From when Linda and I were together in college. I've carried them for 20 years. He swipes through his gallery and holds up the screen. This is us at her graduation. And this is the last photo I have of baby Emma. I can't see the screen from where I'm standing, but I watch Dad's face as David hands him the phone. Dad's expression shifts from confusion to recognition to something approaching horror. Linda, he says very quietly. This baby, she looks exactly like Emma did in those pictures you showed me. The ones from before the accident. Because it is Emma, David says, looking between them. I don't understand what's happening here, but that's my daughter. The room erupts. Someone gasps, another person swears, and I hear the distinct sound of Dad's sister Janet saying, holy shit, in the kitchen. Emma is backing toward the stairs now, her perfect composure finally cracking. This is insane, she says, her voice rising to nearly a shriek. You're all insane. Mom, tell them. Tell them this is crazy. All eyes turn to Linda, who's standing in the center of the chaos looking like a woman who's just watched her entire world collapse. She opens her mouth, closes it, then looks directly at her daughter. I'm sorry, she whispers, and I'm not sure if she's talking to Emma, David, or my dad. But I know this is just the beginning. The confession hangs in the air like a toxic cloud. Linda's whispered, I'm sorry, seems to echo in the sudden silence, and I watch as the reality of what's happening finally hits everyone in the room. Dad sets David's phone down on the entryway table with shaking hands. Linda. Tell me this isn't what I think it is. But before she can answer, Emma does something I never expected. She laughs. Not her practiced, charming laugh, but something wild and desperate that makes everyone take a step back. You know what? Fine. Fine. She whirls around to face the room full of shocked guests. You want the truth? Here's your precious truth. Yes, he's my biological father. Yes, we've been lying for 5 years. And you know what else? I don't regret a single second of it. Emma, Linda starts, but Emma cuts her off. No, Mom. They want a show. Let's give them a show. She turns to David, her voice dripping with venom. Congratulations, Dad. You have a daughter. A daughter who grew up thinking you abandoned us, who listened to Mom cry every night because the great David Hartley was too good to return her calls when she tried to tell you she was pregnant. David's face goes white. What? Linda, I never got any calls. Of course you didn't, Emma snarls. Because you'd already moved on to your perfect little family. Your wife, your legitimate children. There was no room for your college mistake. That's not true. David steps forward, his voice desperate. Linda, I never knew. I swear to God, I never knew you were pregnant. If I had. Stop, Dad says, his voice cutting through the chaos. Just, everyone stop. He looks around the room at his guests, who are all staring like they're watching a train wreck. I think everyone should go home. This is a family matter. The exodus is swift and awkward. Dad's co-workers grab their coats and mumble embarrassed goodbyes. The neighbors flee with their casserole dishes. Even Dad's sister Janet, who usually thrives on family drama, makes a hasty exit. Within 10 minutes, it's just us. Dad, Linda, Emma, David, and me standing in the destroyed remains of what was supposed to be a perfect birthday celebration. 19 years, Dad says quietly, staring at Emma. 19 years, I've loved you like my own daughter. Worried about you, supported you, been proud of you. And it was all based on a lie. It wasn't all a lie, Linda says desperately. Your love for her was real. Her love for you is real. The accident, my mother did die in that crash. We were hurt, we were vulnerable, and when we met you. When you met me, you saw an opportunity, Dad finishes. A widower with a daughter Emma's age, a stable job, a house in a good neighborhood. Someone gullible enough to believe your sob story about losing everything. Emma flinches like he slapped her. For the first time since David walked through the door, she looks genuinely hurt rather than angry. That's not how it was, she says quietly. I love you, Dad. You're the only father I've ever known. Don't, David says sharply. Don't call him Dad. I'm your father. You're a stranger, Emma snaps back. You're a man who contributed some DNA and then disappeared. He's the one who taught me to ride a bike, who helped with homework, who walked me through panic attacks and celebrated my achievements. Biology doesn't make you a parent. And that's when I realize Emma's final card. Even cornered, even exposed, she's still playing the game. She's positioning herself as the victim of circumstances, the girl caught between two fathers who both failed her in different ways. But she's forgotten about the stolen money. And I'm about to remind everyone exactly what kind of person she really is. That's a beautiful speech, Emma, I say, stepping forward. Really touching. Now tell everyone where you got $3,000 to go shopping this week. Her face goes dead white, and I know I've got her. The room, which had just started to settle into the new reality of Emma's parentage revelation, suddenly crackles with fresh tension. Emma's face cycles through several emotions, panic, calculation, then a desperate attempt at confusion. I don't know what you're talking about, she says, but her voice wavers for the first time today. $3,000, I repeat, louder this time. From my college savings account. The money I've been working 2 years to save, gone the same week you started wearing designer clothes. Dad's head snaps toward me, then back to Emma. What is she talking about? She's clearly having some kind of breakdown, Emma says, grasping for her old tactics. The stress of all this, the accusations, Dad, she's been acting paranoid for weeks. Making up conspiracy theories, harassing people online. Like David? I interrupt. The man you contacted first, pretending to be a genealogy researcher. The man you tried to scam for consultation fees while simultaneously trying to discredit any DNA evidence that might surface. David's eyebrows shoot up. Wait, you're the one who contacted me initially. Not her. He points at me. Oh, this gets better, I continue, pulling out my phone. Emma created a fake Facebook account to message David. Not only did she try to convince him that any DNA matches were database errors, but she also pitched him on a fake documentary project. For money, of course. I show the screenshots I saved, passing my phone around. Linda reads them with growing horror, Dad's jaw clenches tighter with each message, and David looks like someone punched him in the stomach. You told me my daughter was definitely dead, David says to Emma, his voice hollow. You said the DNA sites were unreliable, that people were getting confused, that I shouldn't pay attention to any research inquiries I might receive. You made me feel guilty for even hoping. I was protecting our family. Emma explodes. Do you know what this would have done to us? To Dad. I was trying to keep everyone from getting hurt. By stealing from your stepsister. Dad's voice is deadly quiet. By lying to everyone. By manipulating a man who just wanted to know if his daughter was alive. Emma turns to me, her mask finally slipping completely. You have no idea what you've done. This family was happy. Dad was happy. But you couldn't leave well enough alone, could you? You had to go digging, had to play detective. I had to pay for college somehow. I shout back. That was my tuition money. Money I earned working weekends while you played the perfect daughter. Prove it, Emma snarls, falling back on her earlier challenge. Prove I took anything. I smile, and for the first time today, it feels genuine. Actually, I can. Because when you helped Dad organize the family finances last month, you didn't just get access to my savings account. You also got access to the transaction history. I pull up my banking app, showing the withdrawal record. $3,000 transferred to an account registered under E.L. Morrison. That's your initials and mom's maiden name, isn't it, Emma? The account you probably set up thinking no one would make the connection. The silence that follows is different from the others. This isn't shock or confusion, this is the sound of everyone realizing exactly who Emma really is. Linda sinks into the nearest chair, her face in her hands. Emma, tell me you didn't. It was temporary, Emma whispers, but the fight has gone out of her voice. I was going to pay it back. The internship was supposed to become paid, and I had that tutoring job lined up. You spent it, Dad says. It's not a question. Emma's silence is answer enough. David looks around the room, taking in the wreckage of what was supposed to be a birthday celebration. I think, he says quietly, we all need to have a much longer conversation. The aftermath of my revelation settles over the room like fallout. Emma stands frozen in the center of it all, her perfect facade finally shattered beyond repair. But instead of the satisfaction I expected to feel, there's something hollow gnawing at my chest as I watch her crumble. I need some air, David says suddenly, heading toward the back patio. This is a lot to process. Linda follows him without a word, leaving just the three of us, Dad, Emma, and me, in the wreckage of the living room. Birthday decorations mock us from every surface, and Emma's memory board has somehow gotten knocked crooked, all those carefully arranged photos now ask you. Dad sits heavily in his recliner, looking older than I've ever seen him. 19 years, he repeats, but quieter this time. Emma, how long were you planning to keep this up? Forever, she answers honestly, and something in her voice makes me look at her more carefully. The defiance is gone, replaced by something that looks almost like relief. I never wanted you to find out because I never wanted to lose you. But you were willing to let me lose everything, I say, though the anger feels different now. Less burning, more tired. Emma turns to me with red-rimmed eyes. Do you know what it's like living every day afraid that someone's going to figure out you don't belong? That the only family you've ever known might decide you were a mistake? So you made that my problem instead. I made it go away, she corrects. Or I tried to. When you started asking questions about my childhood, when you got weird about family photos, I knew something was up. The DNA test just confirmed it. Dad's head snaps up. How did you know about the DNA test? Emma lets out a bitter laugh. She's not as sneaky as she thinks. Left the kit packaging in her car when she came home for Christmas. I saw it when I borrowed her keys. You've been planning this for months, I realize. The financial access, the fake Facebook account, contacting David first, all of it. I was trying to protect what we had. Emma's voice breaks. And yes, I took your money, and I'm sorry, but I was desperate. The internship fell through, my grades were slipping, and I knew if Dad found out I was failing. You're failing. Dad interrupts. Emma's shoulders slump. Marketing theory, statistics, and economics. I'm probably going to lose my scholarship. Another lie unraveling. I think about all those dinners where she talked about her academic success, her internship, her bright future. How much of Emma's life has been performance? Why didn't you just tell the truth? Dad asks, and he sounds more hurt than angry now. About school, about money problems, about any of it. Because the truth is messy, Emma whispers. The truth is that I'm not the perfect daughter you thought you were getting. I'm not naturally brilliant or effortlessly successful. I'm just a girl whose mom lied to give us both a better life, and I've been terrified of disappointing you ever since. Through the patio door, I can see David and Linda in what looks like an intense conversation. 20 years of unresolved history playing out in urgent whispers and gestures. This is so screwed up, I mutter, sinking onto the couch. Language, Dad says automatically, then catches himself. Sorry. I think under the circumstances, a little profanity is warranted. Despite everything, Emma almost smiles at that. Remember when you used to make us put quarters in the swear jar? You owe about $50 for today alone, I point out. Add it to what I already owe you. We fall into silence, the three of us sitting in the ruins of our family's foundation. Outside, David is showing Linda something on his phone, probably more pictures, more proof of the life they might have had. So what happens now? Emma asks finally. Dad looks at both of us, and I can see him struggling with something. I honestly don't know. This whole thing, it's going to take time to process. To figure out how to move forward. Are you going to press charges? Emma asks quietly. About the money? I look at her, really look at her, and see not the manipulative golden child I've been fighting, but a scared 19-year-old who's just lost everything she built her identity around. I don't know, I answer truthfully. I just want my money back so I can stay in school. I'll figure out how to get it back to you, she promises. Even if I have to drop out and work full-time. The patio door slides open, and David and Linda come back inside. Whatever they discussed hasn't resolved anything, if anything, they both look more strained than before. We need to talk, Linda announces. All of us. Because this mess is bigger than anyone realizes. David and Linda exchange a look that makes my stomach drop. There's something else. Of course there's something else. What do you mean, bigger? Dad asks, though he sounds like he's not sure he wants to know. Linda wraps her arms around herself, suddenly looking fragile in a way I've never seen before. David, when I tried to contact you about the pregnancy. I didn't just call once. I told you, I never got any calls, David says firmly. My number never changed. If you'd reached out. I did reach out. Multiple times. Through your family, through friends, through the university alumni office. Linda's voice is barely above a whisper. Someone made sure those messages never got to you. The room goes dead silent. Emma's face has gone completely white. What are you saying? David demands. Linda looks directly at him, tears starting to form. Your mother. Margaret Hartley. I spoke to her directly 3 times. Told her about the pregnancy, begged her to have you call me back. She said she'd pass along the message. David staggers backward like he's been physically hit. No. No, my mother would never, she wouldn't. She did more than that, Linda continues, her voice getting stronger with anger. She told me you already knew. That you'd decided you weren't ready to be a father, that you'd asked her to handle it. She offered me money, David. $5,000 to handle the situation quietly and never contact your family again. Oh my God, Emma breathes. I was 19, scared, and completely alone, Linda says. My mother had just been diagnosed with a cancer that would kill her 2 years later. I had no money, no support system, and your mother was telling me that you wanted nothing to do with us. David is shaking his head repeatedly, like he can physically reject what he's hearing. She wouldn't. She couldn't. My mother loved children, she always wanted grandkids. She wanted the right grandkids, Linda snaps. From the right family. I wasn't good enough for her precious son. She made that very clear. I watch Dad's face cycle through emotions as he processes this new layer of deception. So the whole story about Emma's father being dead was easier than explaining that his grandmother paid us to disappear, Linda finishes. When Emma got old enough to ask questions, what was I supposed to say? That Daddy's family thought we were trash. That they paid money to make sure she'd never know her father. Emma is crying now, silent tears streaming down her face. Grandma Margaret knew about me. Honey, Linda says gently, she died 5 years ago. Right around the time we met your dad, actually. The timing hits me like a slap. That's why you moved here. After she died. Linda nods. I thought maybe David deserved to know the truth. But then Emma was doing so well in school here, and she'd gotten so attached to your father, and I told myself maybe it was better to leave the past alone. Except the past didn't stay buried, I point out. Because DNA doesn't lie, and the internet makes everyone findable. David has been quiet through this whole revelation, but now he looks up with eyes full of pain and rage. 20 years. I've missed 20 years of my daughter's life because my mother decided she knew what was best for everyone. I tried to find you on social media over the years, Linda admits. But you were always so private, and after I married Robert, it felt wrong to disrupt everyone's lives. So you disrupted them with lies instead, Dad says quietly. Emma suddenly stands up, swaying slightly. I can't, this is too much. She heads for the stairs, but Dad's voice stops her. Emma. We're not done here. What else is there to say, she asks without turning around. My entire life is a lie. My grandmother was a horrible person. I stole from the one person in this family who never did anything wrong. And now my real father wants to play daddy after 19 years. She finally faces us, mascara streaked down her cheeks. Oh, and I'm probably going to flunk out of college anyway, so at least that's consistent. Emma, David starts, but she cuts him off. Don't. Just don't. You want to know your daughter? Here she is. I'm selfish, manipulative, failing school, and apparently genetically predisposed to making terrible decisions. Congratulations on your DNA contribution. She storms upstairs, leaving the four of us in another heavy silence. Well, Dad says eventually, this is officially the worst birthday party in recorded history. Despite everything, I almost laugh. Almost. Because something Emma said is nagging at me, and I'm starting to realize our family's foundation isn't just cracked, it might be completely rotten. I'm staring at the debris of our destroyed family dinner when my phone buzzes with a text from an unknown number. The message makes my blood run cold, asterisk, saw the party got interesting. We should talk. Asterisk. Before I can process what this means, another message appears, asterisk, your sister isn't the only one with secrets. Coffee tomorrow, or everyone learns about your little side business. Asterisk. My hands start shaking. There's only one person who could know about the tutoring papers I've been writing for other students, a desperate attempt to make extra money that technically violates the academic integrity policy. It was supposed to be harmless, just helping struggling classmates with essay structure, but it's escalated into me basically writing entire assignments. Everything okay? Dad asks, noticing my expression. Fine, I lie, shoving my phone away. Just processing everything. But as Linda and David continue their painful conversation about lost years and family interference, I can't focus. Someone was watching today's disaster unfold. Someone who knows enough about my life to threaten me. The realization hits me like ice water, Emma wasn't working alone. Actually, I interrupt the adults, I need to ask Emma something. I'll be right back. I take the stairs 2 at a time and knock on Emma's bedroom door. We need to talk. Go away. Someone just threatened me. Someone who knows things they shouldn't know. I lean against her door. Who else did you tell about the DNA test? The silence stretches long enough that I think she's going to ignore me. Then, what kind of threat? The kind that suggests you had help with your little investigation into my life. The door opens abruptly. Emma's face is blotchy from crying, but her eyes are alert. Show me. I hand her my phone with the messages. Her face goes pale as she reads them. Emma. Who did you tell? She sinks onto her bed, suddenly looking exhausted. Marcus. Marcus who? Marcus Chen. He's in my marketing program. We've been close. She won't meet my eyes. When I found out about your DNA test, I panicked. I told him everything, about David, about the family lies, about needing to figure out how to protect Mom and Dad from the truth. My stomach drops. Marcus Chen. I know exactly who he is, the guy who approached me 6 months ago about academic tutoring for students who were struggling with the workload. What started as legitimate help has become me ghostwriting papers for lazy rich kids who pay premium rates for guarantee days. Emma, what did you ask him to do? Research, she says quietly. He's good with computers, social media stalking, finding information people don't want found. I thought if we could find something to balance the scales. You had him dig up dirt on me. I had him find leverage, she corrects. In case you tried to blow up our family. The scope of Emma's manipulation is staggering. While I thought I was playing chess, she was orchestrating an entire campaign of information warfare. How much does he know? Everything. About David, about your DNA test, about the money I took. She looks up at me with something that might be regret. I'm sorry. I was scared and I made stupid decisions, but I never meant for it to go this far. My phone buzzes again, *, noon tomorrow. Campus coffee shop. Don't make me reach out to the academic integrity board tonight. *. Emma reads over my shoulder and winces. He's not going to let this go. Marcus doesn't do anything without wanting something in return. What does he want? I don't know. But whatever it is, it's going to be worse than what we've already been through. Downstairs, I can hear Dad's voice rising as he argues with Linda about 20 years of missed opportunities. David's deeper voice joins in, and I realize our family crisis is far from over. Now there's someone else pulling strings, someone who watched today's explosion and sees opportunity in our chaos. Emma and I might be on the same side for the first time in years. Whether we like it or not. The next morning, I'm sitting in the campus coffee shop 15 minutes early, trying to look casual while my stomach churns with anxiety. I've chosen a corner table where I can see the entrance, and I've already run through a dozen scenarios of how this conversation might go. None of them end well. Marcus Chin walks in at exactly noon, and I'm struck by how ordinary he looks. Average height, neat haircut, the kind of guy who blends into any crowd. Nothing about him screams blackmailer, but then again, the most dangerous people rarely advertise their intentions. He spots me immediately and slides into the chair across from me with a smile that doesn't reach his eyes. Thanks for coming. I wasn't sure you would. What do you want, Marcus? Straight to business. I respect that. He pulls out his phone and sets it on the table between us. First, let me say that yesterday's family drama was quite the show. Emma really outdid herself with the whole DNA reveal theatrics. You were there. Across the street in my car. Amazing what you can see through living room windows when people forget to close the curtains. His smile widens. Your stepsister hired me to do research, but she never said anything about not documenting the results. The implication hits me like a cold slap. You recorded it. Audio and video. The whole beautiful mess, David's arrival, Emma's confession, your little money theft revelation. Quality content, really. He taps his phone screen. The question is what we do with it now. My mouth goes dry. What do you want? Partnership, he says simply. See, Emma paid me to find dirt on you, and boy, did I find dirt. Your little essay writing business is more extensive than you probably realize. 12 different students over 6 months, roughly $4,000 in payments. That's not tutoring, that's academic fraud on a commercial scale. I try to keep my voice steady. You have no proof. Don't I? He slides his phone toward me, showing a screenshot of Venmo transactions between me and various students, each labeled with innocuous descriptions like study help and tutoring session. But there are too many, too frequent, and the amounts are too large to be anything innocent. Where did you get these? Emma gave me access to a lot of family financial information when she was trying to cover her tracks about your stolen money. She thought she was being clever, consolidating everything to keep track of what she'd taken. Instead, she handed me a roadmap of everyone's financial secrets. The coffee shop suddenly feels too warm, too crowded. I'm trapped between Emma's theft and my own questionable choices, with someone who seems to have anticipated every move. What kind of partnership? I ask quietly. The profitable kind. Your family just exploded spectacularly in front of a room full of witnesses. There are secrets, lies, stolen money, hidden parentage. It's like a reality TV show goldmine. Marcus leans forward, his voice dropping. I'm thinking we leverage this into something bigger. Bigger how? Social media exposure. A viral family drama story. Maybe a podcast series about family secrets and DNA revelations. I've already started a TikTok account. He shows me his phone again, and my heart stops. There's already a video posted with over 10,000 views, titled, When DNA Tests Destroy Families, Part 1. You posted about my family online. Just a teaser. No names yet, no identifying details. But the engagement is incredible. People love this stuff. His eyes gleam with excitement. With your insider access and my marketing skills, we could turn this into serious money. Split everything 50-50. I stare at him, finally understanding the depth of what I'm dealing with. Marcus isn't just blackmailing me, he's trying to monetize my family's destruction. And if I refuse? Then tomorrow morning, I submit everything about your academic fraud to the university, post the full video of yesterday's party, and let the internet do what it does best. He shrugs. Your choice. Partner with me in profit, or watch everything burn anyway while I cash in alone. The trap is perfect, and I'm completely caught. I stare at Marcus across the coffee shop table, my mind racing through impossible calculations. Partner with him to exploit my family's pain, or watch him destroy everything anyway while I face academic expulsion. I need time to think, I say finally. You have until tonight, Marcus replies, pocketing his phone. But here's the thing, this story is going viral with or without you. I've already got part 2 scripted out, and the comments on part 1 are begging for more details. After he leaves, I sit there for another 20 minutes, paralyzed by the scope of the disaster I'm facing. When I finally drive home, I find Dad's car missing from the driveway and unfamiliar voices coming from the living room. Inside, I discover David sitting with Emma and Linda, surrounded by photo albums and documents spread across the coffee table. The scene looks almost domestic until I notice Emma's red-rimmed eyes and the tension radiating from everyone. Where's Dad? I ask. He went to stay at Uncle Bill's for a few days, Linda says without looking up. He needs space to process everything. The words hit harder than I expected. In 24 hours, we've gone from a functional blended family to complete breakdown, with Dad so overwhelmed he can't even be in the same house as us. We've been going through old photos, David explains, gesturing to the albums. Trying to piece together what really happened 20 years ago. He hands me a yellowed envelope marked with his mother's handwriting, Linda Morrison, handle immediately. I found this in my mother's papers after she died, David says. I thought it was just old correspondence, but now. He opens it to reveal copies of certified mail receipts, phone records, and a bank statement showing a $5,000 withdrawal dated exactly when Linda said his mother offered her money to disappear. She documented everything, Linda whispers. Like she was proud of it. Emma suddenly speaks up. There's more. Her voice is hollow, defeated. I called Marcus this morning to tell him to back off. That's when he told me about the video. My blood freezes. What video? He recorded yesterday. Everything. And he's already posted part of it online. She shows me her phone, and I see the TikTok account Marcus mentioned, but now there are 3 videos with a combined 500,000 views. The latest one, posted 2 hours ago, is titled The Confrontation, Family DNA Drama Part 3, and shows a clear view through our living room window. You can see David arriving, Emma's reaction, and while the audio is muffled, the captions Marcus added tell the whole story with devastating accuracy. People are already trying to identify us, Emma says, scrolling through comments. Someone recognized Dad's military photos from your memory board and posted his unit information. Another person thinks they know what college Linda and David attended. Linda looks up from the photo album with genuine fear in her eyes. How long before they figure out who we are? Hours, maybe less, I admit. The internet is terrifyingly good at solving puzzles like this. David runs his hands through his hair. This is insane. Our private family business is entertainment now. I think about Marcus's ultimatum, his offer to split profits 50-50. The sick part is that he's probably right about the money potential. Family drama content performs incredibly well online, and our story has all the elements that drive engagement: secrets, betrayal, stolen money, hidden parentage. There's something else, I say quietly, because I can't carry this alone anymore. Marcus approached me today. He wants me to partner with him to monetize this. The silence that follows is deafening. Monetize? Emma's voice is sharp. I explain Marcus's proposal, watching their faces cycle through disbelief, anger, and horror. When I finish, Linda is shaking her head repeatedly. This can't be happening, she whispers. This can't be real. But it is real, and it's about to get worse. Because my phone is buzzing with notifications, and when I check, I see that Marcus has tagged an account called Find the Family in his latest video. We've just become an internet mystery that thousands of people are actively trying to solve. The notifications on my phone are multiplying faster than I can read them. Someone has identified our street from landmarks visible through the window. Another person claims to have found Dad's Facebook profile. It's only a matter of hours before our address is public knowledge. We have to stop this, I say, standing up abruptly. All of it. Right now. Emma looks up from her phone with exhausted eyes. How? The videos already have millions of views. Marcus isn't going to just delete them because we ask nicely. No, I agree, but he made one crucial mistake. He's been so focused on exploiting our story that he forgot something important. He's not the only one with leverage. I pull out my laptop and start typing furiously. Marcus documented everything, right? Including how he got access to private family financial records through Emma. Including how he's been running my essay writing business as blackmail material. Including how he's profiting from secretly recorded footage taken from public property without consent. David leans forward. What are you getting at? I'm getting at the fact that Marcus Chin just committed about 6 different crimes while creating evidence of all of them. My fingers fly across the keyboard as I compile screenshots, transaction records, and timestamps. Wire fraud, invasion of privacy, extortion, cyberstalking, take your pick. Linda catches on first. You're going to expose him. I'm going to destroy him. I turn the laptop around to show them the comprehensive document I'm building. Everything he did, every law he broke, every piece of evidence of his blackmail scheme. But more importantly, I'm going to tell the real story before he can twist it further. Emma sits up straighter. What do you mean? I look at each of them, my stepmother who lied to protect her daughter, my stepsister who stole from me but was terrified of losing the only father she'd known, my biological family member who lost 20 years with his daughter because of his mother's prejudice. I mean, we tell the truth. All of it. On our terms. I open a new document and start typing. A complete account of what really happened, why it happened, and how someone tried to exploit our family's pain for internet fame. People won't care about the context, Emma says quietly. They just want drama. Some people, maybe. But most people understand complicated families. Most people have secrets they're not proud of. I keep typing, the words flowing faster now. The difference is, we're going to own our story instead of letting someone else profit from it. David picks up one of his mother's old letters, the evidence of her interference 20 years ago. What about the money? Emma still owes you $3,000. Emma and I look at each other across the coffee table. After everything we've been through, the money feels almost secondary. I'm dropping out anyway, Emma says quietly. I'll get a job, pay it back over time. Actually, I say, still typing, you're not dropping out. Because Marcus was right about one thing, there's money in this story. Legitimate money. I turn the laptop toward them again, showing the blog post I've been writing. We tell our story honestly, completely, and we donate any revenue to organizations that help families navigate DNA discoveries and complex custody situations. Turn our mess into something that actually helps people. Linda wipes her eyes with a tissue. You think anyone would read it? Emma, how many views does Marcus's latest video have? She checks reluctantly. 2.3 million. Then yeah, people will read it. But they'll read the truth, not his exploitation. I hit publish on the blog post and then open TikTok, Instagram, and Twitter simultaneously. Marcus wants to play internet games. Fine. But he just picked a fight with someone who actually understands the rules. Within minutes, I posted our response across every platform, tagged Marcus directly, and included every piece of evidence of his blackmail scheme. I've also sent comprehensive reports to the university, local police, and the platforms hosting his content. My phone immediately starts buzzing with responses, but this time they're different. Messages of support, people sharing their own complicated family stories, others expressing outrage at Marcus's exploitation. Look, Emma says, showing me her screen. Someone already identified Marcus and found his academic records. Apparently this isn't his first blackmail scheme. David laughs, actually laughs, for the first time since walking into our house yesterday. I think Marcus just learned why you don't mess with people who have nothing left to lose. 2 hours later, Marcus's accounts are suspended, the university has launched an investigation, and our truthful account of events is trending with overwhelmingly positive responses. So, I say, closing my laptop, anyone want to help me figure out how to rebuild a family from scratch?